Hello, beautiful friends. How are you today? Welcome back to another day of yoga with Miss Shauna. That is me. Today we're going to focus on grounding and releasing. So I was reading the other day and it kind of resonated with me that all great flights take off from the ground, right? So by grounding yourself, you're preparing yourself to soar. So we're going to do some poses that just root us into the ground, as well as some that just release tension in different parts of our body. So if you're not already, let's get started seated on our mat, just in a nice easy position, cross-legged, or if you want to gently release your legs. If you do feel like you might need any supports, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you need any supports like a stretch band or a strap or a belt, or blocks or pillows for support, make sure you pause the video and go grab those. And if you're good without, then let's just keep on going. So from your easy seated position, just taking a couple deep centering breaths. You can soften your eyes if you want to. And if your eyes are closed, just bringing your attention to the room. We're going to plant our right hand on the ground, reaching that left hand up and over. Just a gentle seated side bend. Getting our bodies warmed up for some of the more intricate poses. Switching to the other side this time, reaching over with that right hand. And releasing from there, just gently bringing yourself to a little fold down the legs, nothing forceful, just bringing some movement into your body. And bringing yourself up to a nice seated position, bringing those hands into prayer at your heart center. We're going to do a nice deep breathing exercise. So the way it's going to go is you're going to breathe in and out following the counts. So we're going to start 1, 1, 2, 2. So we take it and we lengthen that breath. We drag out that breath in and drag out the exhale. So we breathe in for 1, out for 1, in for 2, out for 2, all the way up to 5. And I will count you through it. So with your hands at your heart center, you can close your eyes if you want to. We're going to breathe in for 1 and out for 1. In for 1, 2, and out for 1, 2. In for 1, 2, 3, out for 1, 2, 3. In for 1, 2, 3, 4, out for 1, 2, 3, 4. In for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job releasing your hands. Let's bring ourselves up to standing at the end of our mat. Stepping to the end of that mat, really rooting. So this is where that grounding is going to take place, really rooting into those feet, feeling support in the ground below you, right? That supported ground is also going to push you up as you soar. So rooting into the ground, into mountain pose, engaging in your core, supporting yourself all the way through that body. Fanning your arms all the way up, and as they come down, bringing yourself to a forward fold, keeping a gentle bend in your knees as you ease into that forward fold, not locking anything out, just gently letting gravity do a bit of work and fold you forward. Bringing your hands to your shins. Half lift, so extending that torso straight through the back like you're able to balance a cup of coffee on your back in your half lift position. Keeping your eyes just gazing slightly out in front of you. And releasing back down to your forward fold. From your forward fold, you have two choices. You can bend your legs down and gently ease yourself down onto the ground, or straight from that forward fold, you can step your right leg back. Either way, we're going to bring that right leg back and we're going to head in to a high lunge. So if you need any supports for balance, you can. So bringing either, if you have the balance, bring the arms right up. Otherwise, you can use a chair, the wall, any blocks at your side for your balance there in your high lunge. Really pushing those feet into the floor. Let the floor support you, right? Ground those feet in and you'll find that balance ready to go from that high lunge. Bringing the hands to the ground, releasing that back leg so you can bring your knee down to the ground for a low lunge. And again, if you still need blocks or anything to support you, please support yourself. The best gift you can give to yourself is to support yourself through all of these poses. From that low lunge, bending into your back leg, extending the front leg. And releasing that reverse lunge. Your front leg. And bringing it back to meet your back leg. Taking a second to reset in tabletop. So putting those hands, rooting them, spreading those fingers wide, and really rooting those hands into the ground. Tucking your toes under, we're going to shoot the hips up for down dog. Keeping those feet and hands pressed into the ground. Making that nice peak shape with your body. Gently releasing your down dog, bringing your shoulders forward, bending into the knees, coming back down into your tabletop. Easing gently. Now, if you want to, you can chaturanga right down to belly, or easing gently, bringing yourself down to your belly position for a deep breath or two. From your belly position, either coming up on the elbows for Sphinx or up on the hands for Cobra. Either way, you're keeping those shoulders and elbows lined up, squeezing those shoulder blades together, long elongated neck, pushing the forearms if you're in Sphinx into the ground, or if you're in Cobra, pushing everything, your fingers, your palms, everything of that hand right into the ground. Keeping your glutes engaged. Releasing back down with the support of your hands, pushing yourself all the way up through tabletop and back into child's pose. Coming out of your child's pose, onto hands and knees, gently stepping yourself back up to standing. We're going to head over to the other side of our mat this time. We're going to repeat the same sequence, moving with the other leg this time for those lunges. So rooting those feet into the ground, a nice mountain pose. Keeping the hands engaged, the core engaged, shoulders down, breathing deep, feeling that floor under you. And on an inhale, we're going to bring those arms right up. And on our exhale, folding forward down to the ground. So you should start feeling now the release in those hamstrings with these forward folds. The first set probably felt a little bit more stiff than the second set here. So feeling that release, the grounding and release of today's practice. Bringing the hands to the shins. Again, half lift, gaze out in front of you. Taking a second to check in. You should have no tension through that neck. You should be able to shake your head no, yes, with no tension. Releasing that tension, letting it go. On an exhale, bringing that forward fold back down to the ground, forward fold. Really feeling that release continue in those hamstrings. You'll probably start to feel it a little bit in the lower back releasing. Oh, it's so delicious. All of this is so delicious for the body. Now as we head into that high lunge, either bringing yourself right down to the ground and adjusting into your high lunge, or taking that left leg right back and setting yourself up for high lunge. If you need your props, blocks, a chair for balance, make sure you grab them. Otherwise, let's reach for those arms up into the sky. We're gonna soar. We ground ourselves and we soar. I love that thought. I have like such wonderful visions in my mind of what that looks like. Getting grounded and then just letting yourself soar. And releasing that lunge, bringing the hands to the ground, bringing that back knee down for a nice low lunge. Wanting to make sure all the time that knee and heel stay in alignment so nothing's going past, right? Keeping that knee in a nice straight line with the heel. Bending into the back leg, extending the front for reverse lunge. Remembering to breathe in and out, nice full breaths. Coming out of that reverse lunge, bringing that front leg out to meet the back leg, stopping in tabletop, really getting a chance for those hands to root into the ground below you, spreading those fingers, really pushing them into the ground, feeling the support of the floor under you and how that just supports your whole shoulder all the way up through your shoulder. And as we head into our down dog, really feeling that support feet and in the hands that are holding you in your position. So tucking your toes right under, shooting those hips up and back. Feeling the roots from your hands to your feet into the ground. And releasing that down dog, bringing your shoulders slightly forward, bending those knees, lowering yourself back to your tabletop position. Now again, you can chaturanga down to the ground or gently ease yourself down into belly. Hanging out belly for a second or two. Couple deep breaths. Now either coming up onto the elbows or tucking those elbows at your side, planting your hands, bringing yourself up for cobra. Keeping those glutes engaged, no tension in the neck. Taking a second to check in, releasing any tension. With every exhale, just blow that tension away. And releasing your pose back down to belly. Planting those hands if they were in Sphinx. And you're going to push yourself all the way up, traveling through tabletop and back into child's pose. Breathe in nice and deeply in that child's pose. Coming out of your child's pose, through tabletop, working your way into a nice seated position on your mat. In your nice, easy seated, just taking a second to check in. Were we feeling grounded? Were we releasing? So the idea of release isn't just release of muscle tension. Is there any stress or anxiety that you're hanging on to? With every exhale, through every pose, release it out. So as we continue through into our cool down, turning ourselves long ways down our mat. So we continue to feel the stretch, the release in that muscle. Also follow your breath. Let the release take out any stress or any anxiety or anything that's weighing heavy on you. And with every exhale, just releasing it out. So with the legs out in front of you, folding from those hips, down the legs, nice seated forward fold. Every exhale, anything negative, out it goes. Every inhale, only the good things. Inhale the positive, exhale and release the negative. Bringing yourself up from that fold, coming up from those hips. Bringing your right leg up. Bending it in, single leg forward fold. Again, folding forward from those hips, folding down that single leg. And again, if you need any supports, a pillow, a block, anything to support that leg, absolutely tuck it right under. You're good to go. Releasing that fold, extending that bent leg back out, switching the legs out, bending up the other leg. Moving forward from those hips, down we go. Couple more seconds here. Releasing out of that fold. This time bringing the soles of your feet in to meet each other. Butterfly or cobbler's pose. Sitting nice and tall, giving yourself a few deep breaths here. And exhale, pushing that oxygen right out of you, letting it release. Deep breath in. Big exhale, big release. One more time. Deep breath in. On your exhale, gently fold forward. Folding down those feet. Coming back up, we're going to ease ourselves onto our backs for a few reclined poses, and then we're going to head into our Shavasana. So heading onto your back, let's start with a nice, beautiful knee hug. Just tucking those knees right in. Deep breath. If you want to, you can give yourself a little rock side to side. That is my favorite, a little rock side to side. Or if it's more comfortable, just staying in stillness, absolutely 100%. From this knee hug position, bringing your arms out to the side, we're gently going to twist over to our right side. Again, putting a pillow or a block if you need a little bit of extra support. You want to make sure you're keeping those shoulder blades both on the ground as you do that gentle twist. Eyes looking up at the sky. If you want an additional twist, take that head and look the opposite direction of your legs. If your head is looking the opposite direction, bring that head back to neutral, looking up to the sky, bringing those legs back up into a knee hug. On your next exhale, we're going to twist them the other direction, so dropping them down to the left side. And again, tilting the head if you want to have that extra bit of a stretch. If not, keeping those eyes gazing up at the ceiling. Next inhale, bringing those legs, straightening that head up, inhaling, bringing those legs back into center for a knee hug. From our knee hug, we're going to get ourselves ready for our Shavasana. So releasing those legs, working yourself into a nice, comfortable, reclined Shavasana position. And as you get settled into Shavasana, focusing on that breath, breathing in good, positive energy, exhaling and releasing those things that don't serve you, feeling the ground below you, supporting you, rooting you, getting you ready to soar. into the room, sitting yourself up on your mat. Thank you so much for practicing today. We're going to wrap it up with that same 5 counting breath that we started with. So bringing our hands to prayer at our heart center as you go through this breathing exercise, taking one last second today to really exhale and release everything that doesn't serve you, and inhale that new positive, rejuvenating, grounding energy. So bringing your hands, if they're not already, at your heart center in prayer, we're going to breathe in for 1 and out for 1. In for 1, 2, out for 1, 2. In for 1, 2, 3, out for 1, 2, 3. In for 1, 2, 3, 4, out for 1, 2, 3, 4, and in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again for your practice. Namaste.